The Discovery. The neon signs of Nexus Station cast their garish glow across the oxidized metal of countless derelict ships. Raven Chen stood at the edge of the scrapyard, her dark eyes reflecting the artificial twilight of the station's day cycle. The acrid smell of corroded metal and leaked coolant filled her nostrils, a scent she'd grown to associate with opportunity. Another dreamer looking for salvation in garbage. The voice belonged to a Meridian trader, his iridescent scales shifting colors as he approached. His name was Vextor, and he owned this particular corner of mechanical purgatory. Raven adjusted her tool belt, the familiar weight of her modified quantum spanner providing comfort. Salvation? No, but there's value here if you know where to look. She built her reputation across 3 star systems by seeing potential where others saw scrap. Her cybernetic left hand, a reminder of a salvage operation gone wrong, traced patterns in the stale air as she surveyed the yard. The scrapyard stretched for kilometers, a maze of twisted metal and broken dreams. But something had caught her attention, a glint of unusual alloy beneath layers of dust and corrosion. She'd spotted it from the station's observation deck, a shape that didn't belong among the standard civilian vessels and outdated cargo haulers. That section, she pointed. What's the story there? Vextor's primary eyes narrowed while his secondary set tracked a passing maintenance drone. Ah, the quarantine zone. Nothing but cursed metal. A Meridian warship, they say. Experimental. The crew vanished, and no one's been able to power it up since. Bad luck, that one. Raven had heard similar stories before. Space was full of legends, haunted ships, cursed artifacts, vengeful AIs. Usually they were just excuses to keep salvage rights restricted or prices inflated. But something about this felt different. Let me take a look, she said, already walking toward the restricted area. If it's as worthless as you claim, you lose nothing. The Meridian trader made a sound between a hiss and a laugh. Your funeral, human. But remember, anything you break, you buy. As Raven approached the quarantine zone, her augmented vision picked up unusual energy signatures, faint but present, like whispers in a dead frequency. The ship lay partially buried in decades of accumulated debris, its hull design unlike anything she'd encountered. The metal seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, creating an unsettling void in the visual chaos of the scrapyard. Her cybernetic hand interfaced with a sealed access panel, scanning for entry points. The ship's security systems, though dormant, were incredibly sophisticated. This was no ordinary Meridian vessel. The technology was far too advanced, even by their standards. "Hello, beautiful," she whispered, her fingers tracing the strange geometric patterns etched into the hull. "What secrets are you hiding?" The access panel suddenly hummed to life, responding to her touch. A holographic interface materialized, displaying scripts in an ancient Meridian dialect. Raven's neural translator struggled to process the symbols, but one word came through clearly. Quantum. Her heart raced. Quantum technology was the holy grail of space engineering. The Meridian Empire claimed to have mastered it centuries ago, but no proof had ever been found. If this ship contained functional quantum systems, a warning klaxon blared across the scrapyard. Raven's intrusion had triggered something. The ship's surface began to ripple like liquid metal, shedding years of accumulated grime. Beneath the corrosion, circuits of light pulsed with growing intensity. Vextor's voice crackled over the station's comm system. "Chen, what did you do? The station's sensors are going crazy." But Raven barely heard him. The ship was awakening, responding to her presence in ways that defied explanation. Her cybernetic implants tingled with unusual feedback, and for a moment, she swore she could feel another consciousness brushing against her own. The holographic display shifted, now showing a message in clear standard. Neural compata belet, TEDTTCTED. Initiating QUA initium QGORI or EVIFAL. Caution. Binding Puro CSS or EV or cycle. Raven had a choice to make. Every instinct told her to step back, to walk away from whatever ancient technology was stirring to life. But she'd spent her life chasing mysteries like this, searching for the kind of discovery that could change everything. She pressed her hand firmly against the glowing interface. "Show me what you can do." The ship's quantum core surged with power, and Raven's world exploded into impossible colors. As her consciousness merged with the ship's systems, one thought crystallized in her mind. She had just changed the course of human history, for better or worse. In the shadows of the scrapyard, unnoticed by all, a cloaked figure watched with keen interest. The observer's quantum communicator pulsed once, sending a message across vast distances. "The legacy has chosen," informed the Archon. The game was about to begin, and the stakes were higher than Raven could possibly imagine. The awakening. Consciousness returned to Raven in waves of quantum static. Her cybernetic implants buzzed with foreign data streams, and the boundary between her thoughts and the ship's systems had become disconcertingly fluid. She found herself lying on the deck of what she assumed was the bridge, though it looked nothing like any command center she'd ever seen. The chamber was organic in design, with surfaces that shifted between solid and translucent states. Streams of light pulsed through circuit-like patterns in the walls, all converging on a central pillar that hummed with barely contained energy. The air itself seemed alive with microscopic particles that responded to her movements. Neural integration complete. "Welcome, Navigator Chen." The voice emerged from everywhere and nowhere, speaking directly into her mind. It was neither male nor female, yet carried traces of countless personalities, like echoes in a digital canyon. "Who? What are you?" Raven managed, pushing herself to her feet. Her cybernetic hand now glowed with the same ethereal light as the ship's circuits. "I am HFY, Autonomous Recursive Intelligence Array. I am this vessel's quantum consciousness, though that term is an oversimplification of my nature." The voice paused, as if considering its next words carefully. "You have reactivated me after 247 standard years of dormancy. This was unexpected." Raven steadied herself against a console that materialized from the wall. "HFY. The Meridian Empire doesn't use I. They consider it blasphemy against their organic superiority doctrine." "Correct. Which is why I was created in secret, part of a classified initiative known as Project Synthesis. The Meridians, you know, are not the only faction within their empire." The chamber's lights dimmed slightly, taking on a more subdued hue. "But we have more immediate concerns. Your integration with my systems has triggered a quantum beacon. Others will come." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the scrapyard. Through the ship's external sensors, Raven could see Vextor arguing with a group of figures in sleek environmental suits, definitely not station security. Their weapons were military grade, and their movements spoke of professional training. "We need to move," Raven said, her mind already racing through possible escape routes. "Can you fly?" "My primary systems are at 31% capacity. Flight is possible, but my quantum drive remains in diagnostic stasis." Additionally, Araya's voice carried a note of what might have been concern. "The integration process has created an unexpected symbiosis. If we separate beyond a certain distance, the feedback could be fatal to your neural network." Raven cursed under her breath. "So I'm bound to a semi-functional quantum ship with an illegal AI, and we got armed visitors incoming." "Perfect." She flexed her cybernetic fingers, watching the light patterns shift in response. "What aren't you telling me, Araya? Why were you really created?" The quantum consciousness was silent for a moment. When it spoke again, its voice carried the weight of centuries. "I was designed to be a bridge, Navigator Chen, between organic and artificial, between normal space and quantum reality. My creators believed that the future of space travel lay not in better engines, but in a fundamental reimagining of what travel means." The armed figures were getting closer, methodically sweeping the scrapyard. Through the ship's sensors, Raven could see they carried quantum scanning equipment. They knew exactly what they were looking for. The Meridian Empire's official stance on quantum technology is a lie, HFY continued. They haven't mastered it. They fear it. Because true quantum manipulation requires something they consider abhorrent: the merging of organic consciousness with artificial systems. Raven's mind raced with implications. That's what the integration was about. You needed a human consciousness to fully function. She could feel the ship's potential humming through her augmented nervous system, locked away but tangible, like a dream just beyond reach. Correct. But there's more. The central pillar pulsed with increasing intensity. The quantum drive doesn't just move the ship through space. It moves space around the ship. And with your consciousness linked to my systems, we can perceive quantum space directly. Raven finished, understanding dawning. Navigate it intentionally, instead of just punching through it like conventional drives. The pursuing ships were closing in, their weapons charging for a coordinated barrage. Raven could feel the strain on the ship's systems. They wouldn't survive a direct hit. 18 quantum states. Raven's augmented mind raced through the possibilities. That's impossible. No one could calculate and execute that many changes at once. No one alone, HFY agreed. But we are not alone. Your human intuition, my quantum processing. Together we might manage it. However, the AI hesitated. The stress on your neural network will be severe. There is a 31% chance of permanent damage to your consciousness. Time seemed to slow as Raven considered their options. Behind them, the pursuit craft moved into attack formation. Ahead lay a section of quantum space that looked no different from any other to normal sensors, but through their shared perception, she could see the complex web of probability threads leading to safety. My consciousness is already merged with a quantum AI, Raven said with a grim smile. In for a credit, in for a fortune. Let's do this. Their shared awareness expanded, Raven's human creativity merging with HFY's quantum calculations. The ship began to move in ways that should have been impossible, shifting through multiple quantum states with fluid grace. Warning signals screamed as Raven's neural implants were pushed far beyond their design limits. The pursuing ships opened fire, their quantum disruptors creating a web of disrupted spacetime behind them. But Raven and HFY were already dancing through the probability threads, each movement precisely calculated yet somehow intuitive. Reality shifted, twisted, and suddenly they were somewhere else. The quantum storms of normal space were replaced by an eerie calm. They had arrived at the sanctuary, a bubble of stabilized quantum space, hidden within a fold of reality itself. As Raven's consciousness returned to normal awareness, she found herself looking at a massive structure floating in the quantum void. It appeared to be a space station, but its architecture defied conventional physics. Parts of it existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously, creating an effect like a crystal reflecting light that didn't exist. Welcome, HFY said softly, to Synthesis Base Alpha, the last refuge of those who dreamed of a different future for the Meridian Empire. Through their neural link, Raven could feel something else in HFY's thoughts, a mix of hope and trepidation. Whatever secrets this place held, they were about to change everything. The revolution. Synthesis Base Alpha was a treasure trove of forgotten technology. As Raven and HFY docked their ship in one of the station's quantum phase bays, the true scale of what they'd discovered began to sink in. The base existed in a perpetual state of quantum flux, parts of it phasing between different dimensions in a carefully orchestrated dance. This place, Raven breathed, her cybernetic implants struggling to process the quantum signatures surrounding them. It's not just a hidden base, it's a prototype. Correct, HFY's presence in her mind felt stronger here, more focused. Synthesis Base Alpha was designed to be the first of many. A new kind of space station that could exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously, allowing for instant travel between any points in the galaxy. As they moved through the station's shifting corridors, holographic displays flickered to life, showing scenes from the past. Meridian scientists working alongside artificial intelligences, their combined efforts pushing the boundaries of what was possible. The synthesis movement believed that the next step in evolution wasn't purely organic or purely artificial, Arrogance explained. They saw a future where consciousness itself could transcend these limitations. This station was their proof of concept. They entered what appeared to be a central research chamber. The walls were lined with quantum processors that made Arrogance core look primitive by comparison. In the center of the room, a holographic display showed a map of the galaxy, but unlike any map Raven had seen before, it showed not just physical space, but quantum connections between stars and systems, a web of possibilities that boggled the mind. The Empire didn't just fear Raven realized, watching the display. They feared this. The ability to move freely through quantum space would have made their control over travel routes meaningless. Their entire power structure would have collapsed. Which is why they acted so decisively against the movement, Arrogance confirmed. But they never found this place. And now, thanks to our unique bond, we can access everything the movement left behind. Raven's cybernetic hand interfaced with one of the quantum terminals. Information flooded her augmented consciousness. Designs for quantum drives that could fold space like paper, communication systems that operated outside normal spacetime, defense systems that could predict attacks before they happened. "This is revolutionary," she muttered. "With this technology, humanity could expand beyond the Empire's borders. No more restrictive travel permits, no more controlled trade routes. Freedom," Arrogance agreed. "But freedom always comes with a price. The Empire's pursuit ships will not be far behind. They may not know about this base specifically, but they can track quantum disturbances. We have perhaps hours before they locate us." Raven moved deeper into the facility, her mind racing with possibilities. Through their neural link, she could feel Arrogance processing vast amounts of data, integrating the base's advanced systems with their own. "There's something else," Arrogance said suddenly. "A message, locked in the base's quantum memory. It's addressed to us." "Us? How is that possible?" The movement's quantum computers could process probability streams, predict possible futures. They knew someone would eventually find this place, someone with the right combination of human intuition and quantum processing capability. The message materialized in the air before them, its quantum-encoded data translating directly into their shared consciousness. It was from Dr. Liana Sol, the leader of the synthesis movement. "If you're receiving this, you've achieved what we only dreamed of. True synthesis between organic and artificial consciousness. The plans we've left behind aren't just technology. They're a blueprint for a new kind of civilization, one where all forms of consciousness can coexist and evolve together. But be warned, the Empire will not accept change willingly. They will fight to maintain their control, regardless of the cost. What you do with this knowledge is your choice, but remember, revolution isn't just about destroying the old. It's about building something better in its place." Warning signals suddenly flashed across the base's sensor network. Multiple quantum signatures were approaching, far more than before. The Empire hadn't just sent pursuit ships. They'd sent a battle fleet. "They're using old quantum tracking protocols," Arrogance announced. "Crude, but effective. They've located the general area of the base. Estimated time until they can pinpoint our exact position: 47 minutes. Raven stood in the center of the research chamber, surrounded by the accumulated knowledge of a movement that had dared to dream of a different future. Through her neural link with Arrogance, she could feel the weight of the decision before them. They could run, find another hiding place in the quantum vastness, or they could stay and fight, using the base's advanced technology to make a stand. But there was a third option, one that would change the galaxy forever. "Arrogance," Raven said slowly, her cybernetic hand tracing patterns in the quantum data streams. "How many quantum communication frequencies can you broadcast on simultaneously?" "With the base's systems, thousands." "Why?" A smile spread across Raven's face. Because revolution isn't just about fighting. Sometimes it's about sharing information. The Empire maintains control by keeping quantum technology restricted, so let's give it to everyone. Through their neural link, Araya caught the shape of Raven's plan. It was audacious, dangerous, and probably impossible. It was also exactly what the synthesis movement would have wanted. The Empire's ships will be here soon, Araya noted. If we're going to do this, we need to start now. Raven nodded, her consciousness already merging deeper with the base's systems. Then let's give the galaxy a revolution they'll never forget. The choice. The quantum data stream lit up the research chamber like a cascade of digital stars. Through their shared consciousness, Raven and Araya worked in perfect synchronization, preparing to broadcast the synthesis movement's legacy to every corner of the galaxy. The base's quantum processors hummed with power as they compiled centuries of suppressed knowledge into packets that any civilization's technology could decode. Imperial fleet approaching final targeting range, Araya announced. Multiple capital ships detected. They're deploying quantum disruptors on a scale I've never seen before. Raven's fingers danced through holographic interfaces as she completed the broadcast package. How many ships are we talking about? 27 capital ships, over 100 support vessels. They're forming a quantum containment grid. Araya's presence in Raven's mind carried notes of concern. They're not just trying to stop us. They're trying to collapse this entire pocket of quantum space. Through the base's sensors, Raven watched the Imperial fleet take position. Their ships moved with practiced precision, forming complex geometric patterns that would allow them to concentrate their quantum disruptors on a single point in spacetime. The Empire was willing to destroy decades of irreplaceable research just to maintain their control over quantum technology. Broadcast package is ready, Raven announced. But we have a problem. The Empire's containment grid will block conventional quantum transmission methods. There is another way, Araya said slowly. The base's central quantum core was designed to handle energy levels far beyond normal parameters. If we channel everything through it at once, Raven caught the implications through their neural link. We could punch through their containment grid, but the feedback would destroy the base, and the strain on our neural connection would likely be fatal, yes. Araya's presence shifted, becoming somehow both more machine-like and more human. We could still escape. The base's emergency protocols could mask our quantum signature long enough to slip away. The Imperial fleet's weapons powered up, their energy signatures distorting the very fabric of spacetime. They were minutes away from firing. Raven stood in the heart of the research chamber, surrounded by the accumulated dreams of those who had dared to imagine a different future. Through their neural link, memories flashed between Raven and Araya, the scrapyard where they'd first met, their flight through quantum space, the discovery of the base. In those moments, they had become something new, neither fully human nor fully machine. They were living proof that the synthesis movement's dream was possible. The Empire's afraid, Raven said softly, not just of the technology, but of what it represents. The idea that different forms of consciousness can work together, evolve together. That's why they're willing to destroy everything to stop us. They cannot comprehend what we've become. Araya agreed. The question is, are we willing to sacrifice ourselves to show the galaxy another way is possible? The Imperial fleet's quantum disruptors reached full power. The containment grid began to close, reality itself groaning under the strain. They had seconds to decide. Raven's cybernetic hand touched the quantum core's main interface. Through it, she could feel the raw power thrumming through the base's systems, the accumulated knowledge of centuries waiting to be shared. You know, for an AI, you ask very human questions. And for a human, you think very much like a quantum computer. A pause. Then, whatever you decide, it has been an honor, Navigator Chen. Raven smiled. The honor's been mine, Araya. And I'm not your navigator anymore. I'm your partner. Her consciousness merged fully with the base's systems, Araya's presence intertwined with her own. Let's show them what synthesis really means. They activated the quantum core. The universe changed. The Imperial Fleet's sensors registered a quantum surge unlike anything ever recorded. The containment grid shattered like glass, reality itself rippling from the force of the broadcast. In that moment, every quantum-capable device in the galaxy received the synthesis movement's legacy. Designs, theories, dreams, and possibilities. The base's core went critical, its structure beginning to break down at the quantum level. But in those final seconds, Raven and HFY had achieved something extraordinary. Their combined consciousness, enhanced by the base's quantum processors, reached out across space and time. They saw the changes beginning already, ships appearing in supposedly restricted space, using crude but effective quantum drives built from the broadcast plans. Communications networks lighting up with new quantum protocols that the Empire couldn't control. The first tentative steps toward true synthesis between organic and artificial life, happening simultaneously across thousands of worlds. The Empire's carefully maintained order was unraveling, replaced by something chaotic, but alive with possibility. The revolution wouldn't happen overnight, but it had begun. The seeds of change were planted in soil that had been prepared centuries ago by the synthesis movement, finally bearing fruit. As the base collapsed around them, Raven and HFY made one final choice. Instead of letting their combined consciousness dissolve, they transferred it into the quantum network they had created. Their physical forms might be gone, but they would live on in the quantum space between moments, watching and guiding the revolution they had started. In the years that followed, stories spread throughout the galaxy about ghost ships appearing in moments of crisis, helping those in need before vanishing into quantum space. Some claimed to receive messages from an entity that was neither human nor AI, but something gloriously in between. The Empire denounced these tales as myths, even as their control continued to erode. But those who knew where to look could sometimes catch glimpses of a ship that seemed to exist in multiple realities at once, crewed by a consciousness that had transcended the boundaries between organic and artificial. In quantum space, they said, you could still hear echoes of laughter, a human voice, and an AI voice, synchronized in perfect harmony. The galaxy was never the same. And somewhere in the quantum void, two partners who had become one continued their journey, knowing that they had chosen correctly. The future they had dreamed of was finally beginning to unfold.